history, not history.
Today's ceremony, however, has very special meaning because today we are not merely transferring power from one administration to another or from one party to another, but we are transferring power from Washington, D.C. and giving it back to you, the people.
Fight for their justice. Truth is truth, no matter what I think. Knowledge is power, but it ain't. If you can't occupy your own body and mind, see through the blind in this place full of lies. Television telling lies to your vision and face. Seems like more of us in prison than the workplace. Getting gadgets, so it's easy to forget. Economics, no money, not a damn thing funny. Some dig every minute of it, I'm hating every second of it.
Good day, everybody. My name is J.L. Edwards. I am your host. Thank you for coming to the channel of the One Man Government Report, or also, the One Man Government Review, the O.M.G. review. On my channel, we'll be talking about an array of things, more so why I call myself the One Man Government Review, what it truly means to be one man in this world today of competing voices, which is why I'm on the YouTube right now, not necessarily to compete for your attention or with other voices, but more so to inform you of the state of today and guarantee a lot of things that you don't know. You may know, but you don't know. We're going to do a review of news, daily updates, things that I feel is interesting to me, following political commentary, also what our current president is doing regarding his regulations, laws, executive orders. But mostly this will be an educational channel. And I would like to share with you the things that I've done over the past 6 to 7 years. Now, I call myself a one-man government review, because I've actually created a government that is recognized by the United States federal government and also the Department of Homeland Security, U.S. Customs Border Protections, Internal Revenue Service, Department of Treasury, Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms Division, Bureau, whatever you want to call them, many federal agencies, let's just put it that way. I did this through a legal process. Now, I must state and interject immediately, I am not, and I repeat, I am not a sovereign citizen. That's an oxymoron if you do your studies. And I am not anti-government per se. Now, I may not agree with all our government has done, but definitely I am not anti-government. And within this display of information throughout time, I will show you why the documents which created our government and sustains our government are, I don't want to say flawless, but definitely have a meaning where many, like I say, it's just not common knowledge. These things aren't taught to you in school. These things, I've spent over 10,000 hours of law study. First question people ask is, well, why aren't you a lawyer? It's like, because I know the law. So I know the law and I know legalese, and that's why I'm not an attorney or a lawyer, because truthfully, if you think about it, I consign you power of attorney. I could go down and get the proper paperwork and give you the power of attorney over my affairs. Vice versa. You could do the same for somebody. You could do the same regarding yourself. So that's all without going to law school and taking the state bar test to become, quote unquote, a lawyer. You know, lawyers know this. They have to build a case. Everything is done under presumption of law. So you must know what it means to be presumptive or to presume. Also, like I say, more so I want to share the definitions and review the definitions that I've learned throughout the Black's Law Dictionary by Mr. Gardner, 8th edition, which, like I say, helped me to understand just who I am in this governmental system and actually what power and authority we, the people, truly hold. See, every 2 years when there's an election, whether it be state or local, or even the 4 years when it's federal. I mean, I guess you do federal every 2 years too. But we hand over our unique power as American citizens to representatives. Now we must ask ourselves, what is it that this power truly entails? Because I guarantee you this much: the politician, the incumbent politician, the first timer may not fully understand himself, but guarantee upon going to Washington, they find out real quickly what it is they represent. I'll give you a hint. We are the United States of America. Once again, United States of America. That's why you hear all this talk about the death tax or the estate tax. And like I said, we'll get into the Black's Law Dictionary, and you'll see the various and multiple meanings of estate and the different types of estate there are. We're most common with real estate, but like I say, there's secrets behind these things. This is just an introduction, a brief introduction, or more so my first video, just saying hello, introducing what we will be talking about briefly, primarily, and also what you can expect as somebody that frequently checks in to see the O.M.G review. We'll also do some coverage of InfoWars and other presenters that's out there, some YouTubers like Tracy Beans, Destroying the Illusion, Hagman and Hagman Report, a lot of different people that I find interesting, a lot of information that I find interesting. I really want to inform you to things that might not be on your radar, or things that might not just come up in your local news brief, or your daily news brief, I should say. Most people don't read Drudge Report or certain things, and so they just choose to. The best thing about America is that you can literally put your head in the sand and let the world happen, and the hope is that our government would take care of the rest. So I don't too much take that approach, but I have a few friends that they say they love America because they know that the government per se has their back. We're learning lately that that's not so much the case, because the promise is equal protection under the law. And we realize that there's two sets of law for different classes of people, depending on how you analyze things. You know, some people say, well, if you have money, then the system works different for you than somebody that's on welfare. We can say that that is true to a large degree. That's neither here nor there. I'm here to make you equal again. I'm here to tell you that the things that President Trump said in his inauguration speech are truly some of the hopes that I would have to be fulfilled, because like I say, I've had over 10,000 hours of law study, and one thing that led me to pursue taking my information that I learned to the extreme and creating my own government was that I didn't believe in what the government was doing, and I didn't believe that it was in our best interest. And I truly believe that the Declaration of Independence holds our key to freedom. And it says, real brief and clear, I'm paraphrasing, but if you have a tyrannical government, it is your duty, your responsibility as an American to stand up and throw them off of your back. And I'll tell you one thing, no matter how people may feel about the Affordable Care Act, in America, Jack, man, the government cannot force me to buy any product, no product, let alone health care. You could say, okay, we're going to mandate this, and you got to get health care. Okay, whatever. If I don't have it, I don't get treated. But when you go to penalize me because I don't accept the product that you're pushing, then it's no longer a free nation. It's no longer a free country. They had all this debate about the Affordable Care Act. Come back, says it's a tax. Well, no taxation without representation. That's what everybody in America should have been screaming once they ruled it to be a tax. Now, I agree that there needs to be a fair system for health care, but one thing we can honestly look at President Trump and say, no matter your color. If you love America, he repealed the mandate for Obamacare, for the Affordable Care Act, meaning I will no longer get penalized if I do not partake in this product that the government is pushing. Most people are like, oh, that's messed up. They took away the mandate for the Affordable Care Act. Well, that's getting us back on the right track to be a free nation. Because if they can force you to pay for the care of your health, what makes you think that they will not tax you for breathing air? Let's just get real. Let's get real. If you let them tax you for the care of your health, which essentially puts the government in your life from birth to death, then what is going to stop that government from taxing you to breathe? Now, we could talk about the death panels and all that stuff with the Affordable Care Act, but this is the primary reason which led me into studying what must I do to not be part of a tyrannical government system. I read primarily all 3,400 pages of the first edition of the Affordable Care Act before it got signed into law in March of 2010. One thing that raised the red flag for me was the medical registry device. Once again, the medical registry device, which is an implanted medical device that they plug into the healthcare system that basically holds your records. Now, they don't talk too much about it, but you'll hear them talk about the medical device tax. Once again, there's that word tax. So, like I said, these things I took to the extreme. I petitioned the right people, including the Committee on Foreign Investments within the United States in July of 2016. Now, before, I guess, a couple months ago, December 2017, maybe September 2017, most people never even heard of CFIUS, or the Committee on Foreign Investments within the United States. All that's neither here nor there. Like I say, this is just an introduction. These things led me to say, I want to be free. I've been studying my country since I was 12 years old. I've not missed the the State of the Union since the age of 12. And whether people agree with this president, the last president, the president before last, or the one before that, it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You are the best governing body in the universe. You yourself. Make yourself not blink. Seriously. We call it sleep. But nobody can regulate their breathing and or blinking. So therefore, if I cannot myself regulate these two practical things that I need in my life, then what makes it think or what makes us think that we need somebody to govern and regulate the rest of our activities? Now that's something big. Now, I'm not all about anarchy. There needs to be law and order. But at the top, when there is an order of lawlessness, then we must restore the order of law. I thank you for your time. Today is January 2nd, 2018. I hope it wasn't too much rambling. I will put up just some pictures so you could read along while I talk along. But this is just an introduction. There will be more, I don't want to say classroom settings, but more educational and informational style presentations in the not too distant future. I just wanted to make an introduction. You are on the O.M.G review, also known as the One Man Government Review. That is called that because I created my own government that is federally recognized by the United States government and many other federal entities. And the name of that entity, called recognized as a foreign government, is COLD with a K, KOLD, cash, CASH, government. You look that up, you can find it. I also ran for president in 2016. You look that up as well. Jason Lamar Edwards, or you could just look up Cold Cash Government as a committee, and you'll find it. But like I say, in the near future, I'll present my documentations and all of these other things. But get ready for fun, get ready for learning, get ready for restoration of America. period. Peace. Positive education always creates elevation. Let's get it.